So if you haven't noticed from my lap, I got a bunch of Invader Zim stuff. Let's see, I got a Gura pillow, of course, had it for years, and I have a bunch of little tiny Gura blankets that are being washed right now, and the jacket that's been with me since day one, I still have. It has the Gura on the back, covered in slime, presumably. I really hope that's slime. And I also recently got this little guy. I've seen it on Hot Topic so many times. I was dying to get it, but then by the time I had the money for it, it was sold out. And only last year, recently, I was able to find it on eBay. And I like this design. It's Gura, but it has a little hoodie for the, the dog part. If you may notice, if you can on camera, there is two little stains right here. One right here and one major one here. Well, long story short, went to a rave with some friends. Some dickhole decided to put a cigarette out on my backpack, and I didn't even notice until after I left. But that's not what this is all about. What this is all about, this whole video, is all about me talking about Invader Zim. I mean, this show aired 15 years ago on this date. And it also aired the same day that the Very Odd Parents did. And that show's still going, and they're still adding new characters, and they're adding Millie Sue, and they're adding all this other bullshit to somehow extend the series, even though it's pretty much dead now. I mean, even SpongeBob, even though it's had its ups and downs, Season 9 has shown a lot of improvement in many areas, and at least it didn't go as far as to show duck lips. Seriously, I mean, I saw that the first episode when Chloe came, and it shows Cosmo Wonder doing duck lips for a selfie. Even though duck lips ran out of style like a year or so, like 2 or 3 years ago, so no real relevance nowadays. But that's not what we're talking about. Today we're talking about Invader Zim, and that show is still relevant even 15 years later, but in different ways. You see, for people who don't know, it was obviously a show that ran for 2 years on Nickelodeon, and it was completely different from what everything else was on the network. I mean, you got, let's see, Rugrats, Ren Stimpy, Cat Dog, Hey Arnold, and those were all pretty simple and fun shows, some better than others. And eventually we got other good shows. We got the first few seasons of SpongeBob, we got Avatar, everyone loves that, we got Danny Phantom, My Life as a Teenage Robot, but in the middle of that, we got Invader Zim, which is still one of the most interesting shows that Nickelodeon ever aired. And it's a shame that it didn't last that long. I mean, I'm not expecting it to go on for 15 years like they tried to extend, the Very Odd Parents to SpongeBob, but it could have had, the rest of its season done, the proper ending, the proper TV finale, and it just never did, because it's weird. The ratings obviously weren't that good, but they barely advertised the show, which I find a little bit strange. They aired a lot more episodes of the show between 2001, when it originally premiered, until like January of 2002, when it was announced to be canceled. Yet the Very Odd Parents only had 6 episodes that aired until December, which was a Christmas special, and even then they didn't start airing new episodes along with Invader Zim till March of 2002. And they also had 3 other episodes that were from the Oh Yeah cartoon shorts that they did. Well, actually, they had 10, but they were only able to fit 9. But what I'm saying is, that show barely aired anything, and that show managed to stay on, so why not Invader Zim? Although there have been arguments that it would have been too expensive to continue on, which really sucks, because, like other people have said before, I mean, you look back at this show, and it's gorgeous animation. I mean, it looks great. I mean, it looks amazing, even 15 years later. I mean, no wonder it's so expensive to make. I mean, it looks fantastic. I mean, you've seen other shows on Nickelodeon. Some of them look good, and some of them look amazing, like Avatar, and some of them not so good, like Fanboy and Chum Chum, which I barely ever remember watching, if I ever did. I don't think I ever really fully sat down to watch a full episode, but that's not what we're talking about, obviously. Invader Zim is a very interesting show. It's something that was really different from Nickelodeon, and even though it's been canceled for almost 14 years now, actually over 14 years, it's still been relevant for almost a decade and a half. I mean, for over a decade and a half. And people still love the show. People have been recently buying the comics that has been basically the revival of the series, but just in obviously in comic book form, which is really interesting. I'm glad it's still continuing in some way. I mean, this show even had, I mean, this series, just this one show, managed to have 3 Invader coms. I mean that's pretty impressive. And this is all after the show was canceled. This is like in the early 2010s, so that's pretty damn impressive. I heard even that in the second one they even got the original creator to come in and do stuff at their convention. There was readings from many of the voice actors and stuff, and it's obviously done something really good if even after all these years it's made such an impact that people are coming to conventions and there's still comics being made and merchandise and everything. I mean, yeah, Nickelodeon, especially early shows like Rugrats and Ren, Stimpy, and Rocco, I mean, they're still getting merchandise out, but that's because of the whole Nickelodeon rewind, or the splat thing you want to call it. And, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, you're cashing in on that, but people clearly love it. That's why they have a whole splat, programming block on Teen Nick now, from like 10 to, I don't know, 4, 5 in the morning, I can't remember. But, that at least makes sense. It's just, Invader Zim, it's like, I mean, even though it's not something that regularly airs on Nicktoons Network anymore, or I guess you can just say Nicktoons, recently for Christmas, I mean, they just aired the Christmas special, so it's still relevant to some people. People are still watching it in some way, shape, or form, so, I mean, look at this. I brought this to a friggin' rave. I love this thing. It's so cool to go to a rave and have Gur on your back while you're dancing with people and having fun and stuff. Going to Chicago in general, I love this thing. I mean, I remember watching it when I was really young. Hell, I remember watching it like a few years back when I was still in my mid-teens, and even my parents were kind of conflicted, like, should we let them watch this? Because, or her, I should say now, because, man, like me said before, this show gets really dark. And the show went through a lot of interesting changes throughout its 2-year run, because, they're still developing the characters, and now developing new plot lines that will build an overall plot arc, if you will. Kind of like with Steven Universe, how it started off kind of mundane and kind of, from adventure to adventure, and now it's starting off small to larger kind of story arc, and which I should have said before, and it's just getting better and better. And Invader Zim could have been the same had it not been canceled abruptly. And also, it's funny, the last episode that was produced was that Christmas special, and that was the only introduction and the only time you ever saw Minnie Moose. And I'm wondering, where's the Minnie Moose merchandise? I mean, you got a bunch of Gur, and I love Gur, don't get me wrong, but I want a Minnie Moose toy too. That's cute. I mean, again, he's in the comics now, too. I mean, he's in the comics with Gur and everyone else, so why not? I mean, this show has been just crazy over the past 15 years. And I know it seems like I'm just rambling on, but it really does make a huge impact. I mean, Invader Zim, it's one of the most controversial shows that you'll ever see. Sorry about that cutoff. I had a brief phone call. But yeah, I mean, overall, I really do enjoy this show, and I think a lot of people definitely enjoy this show. It's still just something you come back to. I mean, you know how you watch a show from your childhood? Like, remember a show that you really enjoyed as a kid? Like, Cat Dog's probably one of the best examples. Then you look back years later, you rewatch it, and you're like, okay, it's not as good as I remember. It's kind of like, you think about it through a nostalgic glass, like, I'm not sure what the term is, but you remember it like as something different before you realize maybe it's not as good as you remember. It just varies from person to person. Pretty much everyone from Invader Zim is completely different. Everyone loves the show. You can show it to somebody now who's a complete horror fanatic, and they'll just fall in love with it. And yeah, I mean, this is just one of those shows that is still really relevant and really good to this day. I mean, it still makes a huge impact, and I'm glad for it, because even though it didn't last that long, it still made a lot of people happy, and it still entertained a lot of people. It's really sad that it abruptly ended. Again, this all leads to the fact that there was obviously a huge budget issue, and some people have said it's possibly one of the reasons it got canceled was because of 9/11. I mean, why would you want to watch an alien try to take over the world right after the Twin Towers got blown up? But I don't think that would be a fair reason. There's also been other rumors like saying that SpongeBob basically killed it because of the rains, but Rugrats was also popular at the time, so I'm not sure. I mean, I can't remember much in 2001, so I mean, even though I was watching it then, so yeah. It's all kind of a blur. It's funny, I still have a lot of Invader Zim recordings on VHS that I'm eventually planning to transfer. Like, it's funny, I'm like missing the first minute of it, but I have the rest of that Halloween special. I already uploaded the first episode to my computer. I have the a few other reruns and stuff. It's kind of cool. It's just kind of cool to have, you know. It's just kind of cool to have in your possession. You can get the DVD. You can find episodes online and stuff. But it's kind of cool to have a TV recording on you. It's kind of like with the Teacher's Pet episode. It's like it's something that's so. I mean, with Teacher's Pet's case, especially, it's so rare to find episodes in full or find episodes that aren't missing a few seconds of clip or something or whatever. It's just interesting if you were to have a possession of it. And I haven't had possession of the first episode from Toon Disney, but again, getting off track. What I'm saying is that I love Invader Zim, and a lot of people seem to still love it, and I'm glad it's still going on in different shapes or forms. And even the creator himself, I can't remember his name, Jovan Vasquez. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Even he says, like, you know, Invader Zim's still going on. Keep in mind, nobody else can see what's going on in his head, so maybe in some way, shape, or form, besides the comics, maybe somehow it'll get revived. I mean, recently Nickelodeon revived As Told by Ginger. They revived Hey Arnold for a 2-hour TV movie to finish up that series and stuff. And there's been rumors of this Nicktoons Avengers movie that may or may not be being produced. So, I mean, why can't Invader Zim be revived in any way? I mean, even if it was just for a TV movie to wrap up all loose ends, it would be better than nothing. At least it would acknowledge its fan base. It would finally finish up what it started. And even the creator himself, even though there's been rumors going around, even he said he would come back. I mean, there's been rumors saying he would hate to come back because of everything that went on during the, you know, censorship and the fact that he suddenly went from working by himself to a bunch of people in the studio, which is understandable. But even he said that he'd be more than fine coming back to finish up the series. So, I'm not sure why that's a big issue. Again, besides production, like besides budget. But given that Nickelodeon's throwing out all this money just to revive these other shows and to possibly make a friggin' movie about all the Nicktoons, I don't think this would be much of an issue. Besides, they make so much money as is. I mean, you know the old saying, you gotta spend some money to make money, you know. So, that's all I gotta say. Invader Zim's still one of my favorite cartoons of all time. I definitely love coming back to it every now and then. And I definitely love wearing my jacket for my reviews. And that's what helped me get started for my identity, and especially in my earlier days. And I still have my Gur backpack and my Gur pillow. And I wish I had some more stuff besides my blankets, but that's about it. So that's pretty much it. I know it's kind of ran on a lot longer than I thought it would, but I hope you guys really enjoyed this because it really means a lot to me, and I'm pretty sure it means a lot to you. And hopefully one day, we'll see it again.